and this is the second half of the stealth section. The only way to get caught is to actually run into Filch at this point. So... oh yeah, Harry doesn't get caught in this version. No, he makes it down alright.
Mrs. Norris, I could have sworn I heard footsteps in here, but... yeah, blah. Let's check the library, my sweet.
Okay, so second half has Mrs. Norris helping, which actually makes being on bookshelves dangerous now. So almost. Walk in and ambush.
Aha! I've heard you for sure this time. Quick, Mrs. Norris, you keep watch from above.
Meow.
You'll not get past me now, you rotten little gutter snipes.
So now that we got ground cover, air cover, Filch is just gonna stand there in the only doorway that we can actually see. But Mrs. Norris isn't hard to go around. She just sort of has a bigger sensory area. But it's still... she still has a defined pattern. So still nothing to worry about. I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but they've got like a werewolf howling for some reason. I don't know why.
Intruder!
So instead of just using that door, he decides to go through the secret passage, which apparently leads to nowhere, even though the room's like right next to him. He would have come out here, but for some reason he comes out over here. Oh, and she doesn't, Mrs. Norris doesn't even sound like a cat. This section, she patrols one side of the library and he patrols the other. That is until you get into here.
Hello again, Harry. How's the bean collecting? Friend George are up to their usual tricks, I presume? I heard about your Quidditch victory. Yes, well done, Harry. On to the cuppy, what?
So, Nearly Headless Nick just screams our name and where we are and what we're doing. But, he shows us which way to go. Even though it's really easy to figure out. Now Mrs. Norris will go on top of bookcases and stuff. Oh, Filch will also run from room to room. Problem is, half the time you'll auto jump will make you over jump these bookcases, which is like the only problem. It's one of the it's like your worst enemy right now. I gotta do it.
What's going on? Who was that? Someone's got past me.
Yeah, he says crap to himself. So now Nick just abandons us to tell us we have to go to the other side.
You, and when I do, you'll regret it.
So now Mrs. Norris is on top of the bookcases. So you gotta run or go in here for some extra beans. There was one over there too, but I forget where it is. And don't care enough to find it. Usually when Miss Norris screams, she's sniffed you, but she still has to actually catch up to you to get it. At least they let us walk over the thing there. and time for cutscenes.
Wow.
Yeah, that was overly dramatic, but we still need to walk up to it. Couldn't just have a complete cutscene.
Reflected in the mirror of Erised were Harry's parents, James and Lily Potter. Harry stared hungrily back as though hoping to fall right through the glass and reach them. He was startled when a voice sounded behind him. Harry turned slowly about. So you, like hundreds before you, have discovered the delights of the mirror of Erised, said Professor Dumbledore. He went on to explain that the mirror showed nothing more or nothing less than the deepest, most desperate desire of our hearts, but that it would give neither knowledge nor truth. The mirror of Erised will be moved to a new home shortly, Dumbledore went on, adding ominously that if Harry ever came across it again, he would be prepared. But prepared for what? Thought Harry.
Filthy whelps gave us the slip, Mrs. Norris. I've locked the only door out of here for the sake of me nerves. Stay here and watch the library for a bit, my dear.
Alright, so that's a little bit of plot. Can't even go that way, so there's really no point to go in here besides to get the mirror. So this is the one time in the game there will be an Alhambra thing without the actual lock. I mean, besides a required Alhambra that doesn't have the actual lock. Hey look, a mirror. Oh, it's not even a card. It's beans. Oh, I thought that was a spoon. It's a wand. I don't know why I thought it was a spoon. I wish it was a spoon. Spoons are nice. That's me rambling. There's nothing to whisper about. Filch isn't even in here. He's in the next room. In the most boring and possibly... boring. Possibly. It is the most boring section in this game. I know it's surprising, but it's true.
Only way out of this room is past that gate. He makes an awful racket. You take that side of the room, and I'll take this one. We'll catch him, Mrs. Norris. Intruder! 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 In the forbidden corridor!
Alright, so... they do like a figure 8 thing. Only it's like... Mrs. Norris will be on one end, and I didn't even jump, so that bean is not going to be caught. You want to keep at least one of these vases for the whole... It's like the puzzle at the end, basically, and without them you're screwed. Unless... well, you're not really screwed, it's just that you have, like, no chance of getting out. So you want to stay back, just because Filch or Mrs. Norris will run up, but won't actually investigate the room. They'll just stand at the doorway for a couple seconds and then give up. Then you gotta wait. Usually I do a zigzag pattern with these. By zigzag I mean I do like a Z pattern. Because while Filch is at one end, Miss Norris will be at the other. Just go in this pocket. Can't be seen. Miss Norris is... what I'm trying to explain is... while Miss Norris is at the far end, Filch will be at the near end to the entrance the way we came in. Vice versa. Yep. The only reason she came up here was because apparently they know which of the two rooms makes the thing go up. I'm surprised Filch didn't hear us. I mean, we ran right past him. Oh, and they won't notice if the block's in the air as long as you've already made the spell. They'll just, I don't know, think it's magic even though it is, but... And there's only one more block to go, and then we're done with Wingardium Leviosa. Pretty sure we're already done with the Lumos also. Still got like one use of Incendio left. And that's... And then Flippendo's used throughout the entire game. Sure, it's fitting that the first spell is the last one we use, but... It's not... I don't know. It's not even one that's in the book, movie. Just, it's games only.
Where is he? Pray I don't find you, my stealthy little student.
Alright, so now they're both blocking the door, but...
Peeves, you'll be banished for this.
The thing is, Peeves is very helpful in this section for some reason. For his hate of first years, he is the most helpful person I've ever met. And that's why you need the vases, so you can distract Mrs. Norris. And they just seem to wait for you. No matter how long you take, they will stand there and wait for you to approach it so the cutscene takes over. I don't know why this epic quote-unquote music cuts in, but whatever. It's an elevator ride. And we finally take off our translucent coat.
Hey Harry, do you have 25 beans for us?
That was
That's
necessary.
it. That's all the beans we need. Thanks Harry, we couldn't have done it without you. Here's a wizard card for you. You've earned it. Thanks Harry. We really needed these. Remember, you don't know anything about us collecting beans. It'll be our secret, right? Come on, George. We've got work to do.
I don't even think they took away beans. Alright, so that's 23 cards. We will get one more right before we actually start doing any of the final stuff. And then we are done. And then we get the final card for actually finishing the game with the rest of the cards. But there's an invisible wall, so we can't go and see what Fred and George are trying to do below the library, which is on the second floor. So I don't know where this takes place, but that cutscene just to show you that elevators go down. Alright, now they're trapped down there. Cool. And I am done with this section. Chapter 5, here I come.